Alright, it's the next day. I didn't end up making that Clone Wars video the same night as my Night of the Seven Kingdoms video, but uh yeah, it's the next day. I'm really depressed and I'm using this to cope. So let's go. I think what I'm gonna do is probably the first 3 seasons, maybe 4 on this video because season 7 and 6 are quite a bit shorter. So yeah, it probably makes sense to do 1, 2, and 3 in this first part, and then when I finish watching through 7, I will release the second part. Um, and I'm doing the same thing on my radio show, Roller Coaster in the Clouds at KUCI. I'm reviewing the Clone Wars, and I think I finished season 4 on my last episode, which I actually did today. But anyway, so the thing you gotta understand about Clone Wars is, and I explained this to my friend when I recommended it to him, 10th grade. You gotta watch for a bit, and then it like really starts getting good. Especially if you're talking about getting into season 3, it gets quite great. However, I find greatness in the first 2 seasons as well, and many of these episodes are criminally underrated. Um, I've been over this before, but back in the day, people just rated things way harsher on IMDb. You'll notice that, like, overall, Clone Wars is rated higher than Bad Batch, yet, like, some of the episodes are just rated way higher individually on Bad Batch. But then people don't consider it as good of a show, and that just tells you that, like, hype when the episode is released, like they get a bunch of good reviews, and then like people like say, did I like this show so much? And they're like, yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't as good as the Clone Wars. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant, but uh the first episode of this show, by the way, it's out of chronological order, so just keep that in mind. Not that it really matters to this review, but I'm kind of going off the rails already. You gotta forgive me a bit. But anyway, the first episode is like a very charming, but ultimately like lightweight little episode of the Clone Wars. I like it. It's nothing special. The animation is pretty awful in that episode, and just generally the first season, even I think part of season 2, and then it really starts getting much better in 3 on, I'd say. Then we got this more war like arc. Um, these two, the Malevolence, which is a very good war arc about like a separatist super weapon. This is a very good one that becomes relevant later during the invasion of Kamino in season 3 or whatevs. Because, like I said, this is out of chronological order. This arc with the traitor droid is actually, I think it's kind of underrated. It's a good arc. It's nothing special, but it's good. This one I like, but it's rated really low, probably because of Jar Jar, but I liked it. Oh yeah, this is a very good one. It's about Newt Gunray's capture, and then like he escapes. It's a very good moment for like Asajj to shine, and also like we get Luminara, we get Ahsoka. Luminara was a Jedi Master, and that's what I like about the Clone Wars. We get to fill in the stories of these background characters in the prequels. Lair of Grievous, very good again. We get to learn more about Kit Fisto and his former Padawan that's kind of OTD. That's such a niche reference, but I know nobody's gonna get that. He's OTD, if you know what that means, but he's off the path, let's say, and basically he's like very arrogant, and he kind of like shames his master, and he ends up dying because he thinks he can take on Grievous by himself. And I like it because it shows like how the Jedi can be morally corrupted and they're not just like perfect. And that was the most interesting thing about the prequels. Anakin being the guy that, you know, is both the most human Jedi, but also the guy that does the most inhuman stuff. And how it contrasts to his brother character, which is Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is a lot less powerful, but definitely more of a moral ideal, but also embodies that Jedi coldness at points. Although in the Clone Wars we do learn that when he was younger, he certainly had struggles. But we already saw that in Phantom Menace. Like he clearly like was not the Jedi he became in episodes 2 and 3, specifically 3. He was more emotional. Bit of a tangent there. Gungan General, which one is this? Oh, okay, yeah, this arc, hugely underrated. This is one of my favorite arcs, just a 2-episode. I really enjoy the dialogue in these scenes. Yes, it's not like a really flashy, amazing story or, war scene, but I really enjoy the banter between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Count Dooku. And if you've noticed, I'm not like summarizing each episode. I'm just saying a few things I like and dislike. If you want to read the little synopsis here, but ultimately you should just go watch it. Watch the show. I guess so. Another one of my favorite arcs, especially in season, like the first 2 seasons. Basically, Anakin has a very heroic moment, sacrificing himself to save Aayla Secura, and he's basically injured by a blast, and he's basically incapacitated. They crash land on this planet. They have to wait till Anakin wakes back up, and they gotta, interact with these pacifist locals, and then the separatists come, and then, yeah. It's a cool little story to showcase Anakin, and also like how, different people's beliefs complicate things during war. I love how I said I wasn't summarizing and then I gave a huge summary, but that one is, I don't know why I decided to do that. Trespass is another very good one. It's a cool location. Also interesting moral quandaries here. A pretty annoying villain character that dies. This arc also very underrated. The bioweapon arc on Naboo. And I guess I just said what it is. It's a bioweapon. I assume this is rated lower because... Sorry, that's these 2 episodes. It's rated lower because the villain's very annoying. And this is a very good arc about a traitor clone. And also this brings up some moral quandaries about, like, the clones, like, not having a choice. Because if we're being honest, the clones were slaves. So, he does betray the Republic, but on the other hand, he never really had a choice in the matter of his allegiance. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he was right, but I'm saying, like, it's interesting to think these clones that do betray the Republic, maybe they have some reason. The Ryloth arc is the basically the finale, and then we get 1 episode at the end. But the Ryloth arc is a very good arc, a strong end, very war oriented, but also it's we get like a great Mace just like a Mace story that I really enjoyed, and he's pretty epic in this one. This is another very good one. We get some good dialogue and banter between the married couple of Anakin and Padme, and it's very enjoyable. And I think, yeah, this is when we're introduced to Cad Bane, who is one of the greatest characters from this series. Season 2. So we're 1/3 of the way done. If you heard that, that's my canister of oxygen, like Darth Vader. It's not anything serious. You just buy it from like Bass Pro Shops. It has oxygen in it. I don't know. I like it. Okay, this arc is very good. It's about the theft of a holocron, and then basically that tells Darth Sidious where the Force-sensitive children are, and he basically kidnaps some to experiment on. Very good. This is it's a good episode. Once again, underrated. Oh, this one. Yeah, I do like this one quite a bit. I don't know why it's rated low. It's in the name. Investigate Padme's former boyfriend, and this creates jealousy with Anakin. Alright, this is like one of the first like great arcs, I would say. Geonosis, the Battle of Geonosis, Second Battle of Geonosis. It's an absolutely great arc. And we get to explore their sort of culture and quirks. Very good. This one, I can't remember exactly. I do know the episode, I just don't know what happens past the beginning. Oh yeah, this one is pretty good. Oh, it's a good episode. I just don't remember too much about it. Oh yeah, after this, Grievous crash lands. They land on a planet, and we see a clone deserter who set up a life on the planet. And it's another moral quandary about a clone who had like amnesia, and he basically set up a life for himself. Should he be considered a traitor now that he knows his memories and doesn't want to come back? Lightsaber Lost is a very good filler episode. And by filler, I mean it's just not really important to the overall story, but it's important to Ahsoka's development, and I really enjoy the episode. And there's a very cool, unique lightsaber and unique Jedi in this one. Yeah, Tera Sinube is the name of the Jedi. The Mandalore plot, and this is an arc, these three. Another great arc. We get introduced to a lot of things. The Duchess of Mandalore, who's dealing with terrorists, and then we get introduced on this episode to the fact that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan served on the planet with Duchess Satine, and Obi-Wan's basically, or they were in love with each other. And it is an incredibly written episode. Lots of banter between Anakin and Obi-Wan about the fact that Obi-Wan loves this girl, and it's great because it shows that he is a real person, and also it shows how noble he is to like put aside his personal feelings to serve the Jedi 100%. And this is another very good end where she basically presents evidence to the Senate that they can basically solve the terrorism problem without an occupation of Republic troops. This is a good episode, probably bad rating because of this dude who is very annoying. Cat and Mouse is a very good one-off ep. Admiral Trench is a very good character. And yep. Again, another very good one-off ep. I gotta stop saying ep. I sound like a fucking fag. Uh, so yeah, so they crash land on Felucia in this episode, and you get introduced to some sort of noble bounty hunters, and you get introduced to Hondo Ohnaka again. It's not an introduction, my mistake. And he's always fun. Zilla Beast arc, very good. I always enjoy this one. It's very interesting. The world building is good. It shows how like little regard Palpatine has for other people's lives, which is interesting. And then we get like a very good end to the season. So season 1 and 2 I would say are very good, but 3 through 6 3 through 7 are great, although 7 has a massive stinker right in the middle. I guess we'll get to that, but it's like Disney stuck their nose into the season and screwed it up, essentially. Just waiting for it to load. Man, my internet. I don't know what's going on. Okay, buddy. I think my internet may have just gone out. This is very awkward. I might have to use my... Oh, okay, it worked. Okay, first we get Clone Cadets. This arc is very good. It's about the Battle of Kamino. It's a great arc, sorry, not very good. I use those terms interchangeably sometimes, but in my rating system, very good is one below great. Sounds very nerdy, which it is. This is a very good, in my opinion, episode. Again, probably rated low because Jar Jar Binks is in it. This one, I don't know why is rated low. I really enjoy this. It has Chairman Papanoida in it, who, if you don't know, is a background character in episode 3 that was played by George Lucas. So they make him like a badass. And I really do like this episode. I think it's really cool. And he's a great, great character. Sadly, we only got him once. But I'll show you where he is, so when you watch Revenge of the Sith, next time you can see it. In the Darth Plagueis the Wise scene, right before we cut to like Anakin and Palpatine in their box, you see this dude with his daughter, and this is George Lucas on the right. And I don't think this lady is anybody. It may be his daughter. I could be wrong about that, but certainly this is George Lucas, a blue man. I mean, he looks really funny. If I was a director, I would do like cameos like this. Like, I wouldn't put myself front and center, but I would be like something ridiculous, but that no one could see, like the blue Smurf. Speaking of that, the best director cameos are Tarantino for sure. I don't find Scorsese's director cameos very good, and I guess they both like wrote characters where they say the N word, which is respectable. No, I'm just kidding. And but Quentin's are so funny, like Pulp Fiction, Dead. You know what? Storage. Great. And I love when he's like, when Bonnie buys coffee, she buys shit. I buy the good stuff because I can taste the difference. Or when I buy it, I want to taste it. I love it. He's a great, great, great man. This arc, also very underrated. Again, on Mandalore. It's not very good, but it's good. this is a very good one-off episode about Ahsoka spoiling a assassination on Padme. See, like, this is what I love about Clone Wars. They took a random character from Phantom Menace that's in the movie for like a second, and they turn it into like a really good character. It just makes the whole prequels like more fun to watch. And what I do love about this episode is essentially the premise is Anakin goes on a mission by himself, and I think Ahsoka is like basically said to she's ordered to stay at the temple and give her debriefing or whatever, so she can't go with her master. And she's like, but who's gonna protect you while you're off on your own? And essentially, Ahsoka does protect Anakin by protecting his wife unknowingly, while she sees visions of this supposed assassination, which she eventually uncovers. I really liked that because it kind of felt like the Force was making it happen. It felt very symmetrical and nice. Okay, this is one of the 3 episodes that I always skip. It's overrated, 6.2. It should be like a 5. It is one of the droid episodes that focus on R2 and C-3PO. They are so boring and they have like absolutely no point. Like, see, look, it's about getting some fruit for like a freaking reception for Padme, and then like Cad Bane's just there and like hacks the droid or something. I always skip it. Always scary. Holy moly. So yeah, this one's dumb. I always skip that. Hunt for Zero, very good. This is very underrated. This is a great, especially the first one is great. Second one's very good. Then this is when the show kind of goes beast mode. The Night Sister arc is a fantastic exploration into like Dooku, Asajj, the Night Sisters who are witches, revenge, loss. It's just fantastically made. It's about Asajj Ventress basically being betrayed by Count Dooku, going to get revenge on Count Dooku after this, and she essentially creates this monster with force magic named Savage Opress, who's basically like a brute who at the end of this arc flees and betrays Asajj. And yeah, it's fantastic, and judging by the ratings, it's the big turning point in the show in terms of rating. Although, like I said, I'd say a lot of these are underrated. Then right after, you have the Mortis arc, another fantastic arc where you explore the Force. You explore Anakin getting to have like visions of what he's going to do in terms of like becoming Darth Vader, and they're fantastic. And his memory is wiped before he can leave the planet, but essentially it shows you that Anakin is manipulatable by the dark side, and it also confirms he is the chosen one on this arc. I don't want to get into all the story stuff, but it's very good. You get things like a Force vision with Qui-Gon Jinn. You get a Force vision of Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mother. And then right after that, you get the Citadel arc. So these are like 3 great arcs in a row. And the Citadel arc is more like a Wari type action arc. You get to see Evan Peel, who's one of the coolest looking Jedi. Especially, I like the end of Phantom Menace where he's standing behind Yoda. But anyway, this is a fantastic arc, but I really like the end of the arc where everything's sort of gone well up until the end, where they're basically running out of time. They have very important information that's been relayed by a dying Evan Peel to Ahsoka Tano. They must get off this planet to relay the information to the Republic. The plan hasn't gone well at the very end, and they're stranded on an island surrounded by lava. Droids are coming at them, so the Republic authorizes a strike team. They break the blockade. Plo Koon punches through the blockade with gunships and rescues the Republic squad. And Ahsoka brings the information back with Captain Tarkin, soon to be Grand Moff Tarkin. And this is a great episode, and like I said, I like the end because it was so like cinematic and great stakes. It felt like a real war film, like the planes blasting through the blockade, Razor's Edge mission to save your squad. It was awesome, and it was Plo Koon, who's one of my favorites. Speaking of which, Plo Koon has, in that Malevolence arc, is introduced, and I really enjoy him. One of my favorite lines, which I think sums up the whole series, is this one. It's basically they're out in space, and the clones say, "We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable." And Plo Koon says, "Not to me." And that's everything a Jedi should be, like compassionate, value for human life, even if it's made in a lab, and bred for war. And it's just a great character throughout the whole show, and I think that summarizes what the Clone Wars is about, the relationship between the Jedi and the clones. Almost 30 minutes. Oh wait, we're done after 2 episodes. I was enjoying this. Yeah, okay. This will be the last 2 episodes. So Padawan Lost and Wookiee Hunt is another arc together. It is just mainly kind of a filler arc, but when I say filler, I don't really mean that in a negative way. I mean it's just focused on Ahsoka and her character, and it's not sort of part of the larger Star Wars story. And it's a very good arc where Ahsoka gets kidnapped by Trandoshans, who basically like kidnap kids and put them in like this jungle island and hunt them for sport. So they're pretty nasty people, and it is kind of like, it does get a rise out of you, I think, when you watch it. At least it did for me. And she basically finds some Jedi younglings who have been kidnapped, and she leads all but one of them to freedom. And you also get to see Chewbacca, who's on this. He's been kidnapped by the Trandoshans. I think the Wookiees and the Trandoshans are enemies, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, that was my part 1 of the Clone Wars. Obviously a great show. I always speak highly of this. Soham, Soham is the guy that recommended this to me, so credit to him, but I think he wasn't as big into it as I was. However, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I just think it's a great thing to watch if you love Star Wars, and I think anybody will love it who does. All right. That was part 1. I'll see you in part 2 whenever I finish watching it.